It's about 1:30 exactly, so we're going to get started. So welcome everybody. My name is Neha Singh. I'm the CEO of PACE, which stands for Partners in Achieving Change Excellence. You may know us as Timeline Consulting. We just rebranded this year. We've been in existence for about 5 years. Derek Polano, our VP, couldn't be with us here today. So I'm just going to do the webinar myself today. Just to set the stage for what the webinar is for, it's for our upcoming events. Anyone attending our Productivity Leader or Green Belts training, that's coming up in Timmins, Toronto, and Sudbury, and those dates are posted there. We're going to help prep you for those training sessions coming up. So if in the chat window, you could just type in your answer of what are you hoping to get out of today's session? So we like to target to, highlight things that you want to get out of today's session. So if you're able to type that into the chat window, that would be helpful. So, and I know there's a little bit of a delay from the webinar and where we are. So yes, you will get your checklist as to what you need to think about for when you are bringing your project to the classroom. We'll definitely give you that. That's one thing that we'll give you. And learning more about what skills are learned with a yellow or a green belt. Absolutely. We will we'll provide you that. We don't have a lot of details provided on the yellow belts training, but I will highlight to you, Steve, the key differences between the yellow and the green belt. I think I have a placeholder slide for that. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next slide. If I see some more chats come up, I will address that as we go. So really, who we are, this is our core team that works out of the office anyways. You'll see the top 4 of us at the training sessions typically. We always keep our training sessions interesting and give you at least three educators in the room so you don't get bored of us. So where we're located, we have an office in Sudbury, we have an office in North Bay, we have an office in Timmins. There's really not an office, it's Norman, Dennis, and Timmins, so it's their houses really. And we service all the way up to Smooth Rock Falls, Hemlo. We're setting up in Brampton, Toronto. So, and we're going to be delivering our training sessions in Ottawa very, very shortly as well. So stay tuned for those dates coming up, and that's 2017 dates. So a little bit about us, what qualifies us to be where we are. We are change management specialists, so we have led projects where we've achieved 2 national awards, the Leading Best Practice Awards. We've been showcased on CBC Radio Canada. We've done several conference presentations. We've had lots of media recognition for specifically the productivity leader training. And what we are working on right now is the book. So the Productivity in Human Services book is what we're working on, and we're hoping to get the Shingo Prize. So we haven't received the Shingo Prize, but that's future dated, 2018. Got to set our sets high, right? So I just had a note there saying the audio just cut out for some people. If you turn off, it's because it's coming on the web. If you turn off other applications, possibly using the internet, your bandwidth might adjust. It's a common problem, so just wanted to acknowledge that. The companies that we work with is right now we're working with Atlas Copco, Dumas. We have a few other companies that we work for. Those you can see them on the screen. That's the mining industrial companies that we work with. And it's just a sampling of our human services companies that we work with as well. So this is a link to, if you wanted to read up more about the awards that we won, that's a link there. This will be available to you as a video after, so you're able to go copy the link and go to check us out. That's our CBC Radio link. Sudbury Star, we've been featured there. That one actually was for a local mental health and addictions agency eliminated a wait list within the first 2 weeks of implementation. So that's what that was for. And then we had Atlas Copco, who was recognized in the North Bay Nugget for saving over $500,000 within 6 months of actually receiving the training. And that was just 3 of them, Christine, Ed, and George. And we had trained their entire leadership team, actually. We've been featured in the Sudbury Mining Solutions Journal, and that's our that's Dick's article on how Lego can increase productivity. It's a real thing. So just to sort of keep things interesting and kind of understand where you guys are coming from, I just want to get an idea of what is your current level of experience with lean or quality improvement initiatives in your organization. So if you look on the right-hand side of your screen where the chat window is, there should be a poll that shows up. And it asks you for your level of experience with lean. So it's novice, intermediate, or advanced are your options right now. Okay, we have about 50-50 right now, novice, intermediate, 33-67. Oh, numbers just keep changing. We have 60-40. So we're at 60% novice, 40% intermediate. That's good. So this gives me an idea of sort of how much detail I should go into in terms of what lean is and so on and so forth. Thank you so much for responding to the poll. It's always nice to keep things interesting. So what is lean? Really, in really short answer is it's an approach to systematically eliminating waste in organizational processes in order to improve quality, improve productivity, or reduce costs. That's really what lean is in very short. And this webinar is not to go into detail about lean, but just to give you a very simple understanding of it, is typically a process would take, say, a process that takes you 6 steps, right? The reason we're actually able to find such sweeping wins in terms of eliminating wait lists or finding hundreds of thousands of dollars in cost savings without any job cuts, by the way, is because we teach you ways to look at your process and really determine what's truly not value added to the client. It's a concept that we teach you when you come to class to say, you know, there are things that we do all the time, and we are all guilty of doing it, that the answer of why we're doing it is because we've always done it that way. So lean is really a way for us to reduce waste and really eliminate a lot of things that don't need to be done, and simply keep doing more with the same. So this is just a visual depiction that, you know, you had 3 steps in one process. Now the resources that you've eliminated from one process, you apply and take on new, more value-added work. So it's almost like I always ask CEOs, I said, you know what, if you had another few full-time staff just available to you that knew everything about your company, that knew how you operated, that you didn't have to onboard, would you be willing to do it? And that's exactly what this training does for you, is it provides you with resources within your company that can do more value-added work. So at the end of the day, the productivity leader training really is about doing more with the same. It's not about making anybody do their tasks faster. It's really about eliminating non-value-added work and utilizing your employees' knowledge really well. So this is the agenda for today's session. Just to yes, so somebody just asked if we have dates scheduled in 2017. Absolutely, we have dates scheduled in 2017. We're just finalizing the specific dates. We have the cities scheduled. We just have to finalize the schedules for all of the consultants. And we will be putting that out shortly. So we'll send you an email once we have those dates scheduled. So there's just 3 parts to this session today. It's why is basically, are you interested in taking the training? Why should you be interested? Or why our training stands apart from the rest? What is a productivity leader green belt? What have others achieved from the training? What do you need to know prior to the training? So there's quite a few students on the call today, and it's really to help them get prepared for the course coming up. And then the how is how to select your initial project, how to decide if this training's for you, how to convince your team. So we're sort of giving you everything in one shot. So I'm just going to put up another poll to say, why are you interested in taking the training, for those of you that are interested or curious about taking the training. I'm not sure how many current students we have in there. Oh, we have other it says other write-in, so we'll check the chat. Maybe it goes over there. So when we say other write-in, just add in your comment in the chat window. So a few of you want to do it for professional development, a few of you want to do it for improving productivity, sustainability, and a few of you have other thoughts on the subject. Increase quality improvements. Absolutely. So in the community services / health sector, quality improvement is huge. And that is exactly why you want to be taking the training. Thank you very much for your participation in that poll again. Thank you once again. So there is a clear, which says in terms of why should you be interested in the training. So from an employer perspective, really, there's a 5 times return on your training investment, not just made up numbers. We actually have case studies that demonstrate that very clearly in the human services sector. So if you're a community service organization or you're a hospital, you send someone to the training, there is a clear 5 times return on investment on your training cost. And if you're in the mining / manufacturing sector, there's a 20 times return on investment on that. And it's really directly correlated to how big your operations are, right? So Atlas Copco, for example, big operations, they were able to get bigger savings, and that's where the numbers really come from. So in terms of why else should you be, interested in the training? It's because your demographics are changing. That's one thing, right? So there's changing employee demographics. Recruiting and keeping employees interested is a challenge, especially with the younger generation. So that's one good reason, and I'll explain a little bit more about that. It's about maintaining your competitive edge, which no one seems to be interested on the call, so I'm not going to go into that too much detail. But it's about innovating and adapting and being sustainable over the long term. You can't keep doing things the way you've done it because you've always done it that way. So when we talk about the millennial generation, the younger generation, and what does the millennial generation really have to do with our productivity leader training? Because you might really ask that. Well, the thing is, when you implement a culture of continuous improvement in your organization, you're effectively engaging the younger generation. So if you see these round highlighted numbers here, up here you see it says 35%. So the younger generation is increasing, and they really care about having their opinions valued. They're not motivated by the same things that they used to be motivated by. Not they used to be whatever, but they're older, like their parents are motivated by. So no longer there's a company man. It really is about self-enlightenment and trying to get your ideas heard. And this actually promotes that culture in your organization. Big reason that you want to send people to the productivity training. And a big part of it is that it's not just about, oh yeah, if people are not playing ball, we'll let them go. It's very expensive, right? So 41% of company surveyed said that it's costly, really, that if they have a bad hire in the last year, it costs them at least $25,000, and a bad hire in the last year cost them at least $50,000. So that's 25%. So on average, a bad hire would cost you about $30,000. So what we're saying here is, instead of trying to keep hiring more people to do more without assessing your actual work and then doing a massive hire, massive layoffs. Like instead of going through that cycle, we're trying to get you to be more productive with the current resources you already have in place so you can weather the storms when the storms do come. So how the curriculum really helps is it teaches you how to sustainably engage your workforce. We're not just teaching you lean principles, we're teaching you change management principles. It really teaches you how to embed the principle of respect for the culture in your organization, and it teaches you to eliminate the waste of not utilizing your employees' ideas. So employees' ideas are the number one underutilized thing in an organization, and it's number one source of waste. So we really teach you that change management aspect of engaging your people. And really, excellence is the new normal. So I have the Atlas Copco team there, and if you go to their manufacturing shop in North Bay, they are amazingly progressive. Like, you know, you wouldn't think, oh yeah, you know, they need lean or anything like that, and they don't, but they continuously improve because they continuously want to stay on that edge of excellence and keep getting better because they know there are more competitors coming into the market. So really, you need to maintain your competitive edge, and excellence is the new normal. So from the other example, there's some examples of doing more with the same. So this particular one is where the Northeast Specialized Geriatric Center in Sudbury. Melanie is showcased there. Melanie and Shane did a project, and they were able to free up about $16,000 per year to reinvest back into the healthcare system. It's obviously not cash they got back, but it's that amount of resource that they were able to recuperate just on their first project, first year. So finding efficiencies, when we talk about innovation, at the end of the day, when you find efficiencies, you have more time to think. If you have more time to think, you have more time to innovate. If you have an ability to engage your workforce, you can actually get more innovative ideas flowing up much more quickly. So what is unique about training with PACE? Because really, there are a few competitors out there that talk about Lean, Six Sigma, and that, you know, the standard training. That we really, for our training, we have very, very structured learning. So we have a textbook, which I'm sure other organizations also have, but our path is very straightforward, and it's designed for someone who's probably a good project manager and someone who doesn't know anything about project management. So I already mentioned change management as part of our training. We also have project management as part of our training, and it's a very straightforward path. So for municipalities, when the reason that they like to work with us is because we give them a very structured way of validating where people are, like from an evaluation perspective in their journey. So you can, from a management perspective, you can actually sort of evaluate people as you're going through the course, and we help doing that as well. We are actually Lego Serious Play certified facilitators. So we have four consultants that are Lego Serious Play certified facilitators. It's a real thing. It's from Lego in Denmark, and it's a methodology to really get innovative thinking going, and really we use it in our training, in certain parts of our training, to really deepen the learning and understand more. You're very rarely sitting in your desks doing nothing. So there's a lot of engaging hands-on activities. Bottom right, we have the Smooth Rock Falls team doing their building the tower game, and we do have people who are excited about our training. And Joanna's just going to cue up the video right now. You can play it, Joanna. All right. So that was just one testimonial that we sort of threw in there. I don't know how the videos really work when we go through it. When we have it on YouTube, I don't think it shows up, but that particular video is on YouTube as well. And also the other thing that we do is there's an immediate application of concepts learned. So you don't just sit there talking heads, people are just talking at you. You're actually applying the concepts that you're learning. So we had a question earlier about what's the, and it definitely can't forget our world-class educators. So Norm, Derek, and Dennis all have experience educating in internationally, and over like hundreds, like thousands of students that they've actually put through the courses. I'm really the the case study person. I do a lot of project implementations, so I'm the time waster, as they call it in the sessions, because I'm able to pull an example out for any situation you can potentially think of on how to apply a tool or template. We have some interactive technology that we use in the sessions as well. And so, unlike other training sessions where you shouldn't bring your laptops or your smartphones, we encourage you to bring your laptops and smartphones, because throughout the session, we're assessing how you're picking up on the training and whether you're actually retaining the training or not. So this is not boring. It's a really, really, really fun training session that you're attending. Also, you become part of a larger community of coaches, and you have your coaches online. So you have a larger community of practice. So we have over 150 people on our Yammer site. You can see over here all the different groups that are set up. So the group that you will get trained with, you'll have your own private group, and you can actually access a community of quality improvement professionals in all different sectors on this particular Yammer group. So it's really, we're building a community of practice, and that's what we're going with. So the other real reason for you to do this is really, it's fun. I'm just going to load up our Lego simulation video. It's about 30 seconds, and you'll see that all right, so that was our fast replay of the Lego simulation video going from there. So that's another reason to come to the training. So which part of the training, I'm just going to ask you a poll in terms of which part of the training are you most looking forward to? And while you guys are answering the poll, what I'm going to address is your question about the yellow belt training versus the green belt training. So the yellow belt training, Steve, really is we do offer it, but it's more theory based. So you don't have as much hands-on practical application. We are going to be offering the yellow and green in a tandem format in 2017. We stopped offering our yellow belt training because it was really boring the way we were doing it, just to be really honest. We like to keep things interesting, so it was quite boring for us to offer our yellow belt training. But in 2017, we're redesigning our course, so the yellow belt is still interactive. You learn a lot of the theory parts in the yellow belt, and in the green belt, you actually learn the practical application. You actually have to bring a problem from your workplace into the training and actually finish the project. And if you receive a green belt from us, it's because you've truly earned it, and you've either demonstrated a quality improvement, time savings, or cost savings. So that's great that you guys are looking forward to the hands-on activities, because that is my favorite part of the training. I'm a very hands-on type of person. That's awesome. Thank you once again for participating in the poll. So what is the Productivity Leader Green Belt training? It's actually 3 days of in-class. You're learning lean, you're understanding tools, change management. You'll actually have a clear idea of a project charter but before you leave there, and a clear definition and understanding of your problem statement. It's amazing how many of us actually don't know how to define our problems. So I'm going to warn you now, if you're coming to the session and you're saying, oh, you know, my project is to implement this piece of software, well, that's not necessarily a lean project. We'll be drilling you and we'll be asking you, well, why? What's the problem you're trying to solve? So it's a very different way of thinking. Bring your project and we'll help you get down to what the problem is that you're really trying to solve. We do 1 hour group teleconference sessions. So the group that you'll be, sharing 3 days with, you'll be very tight with them. You'll have an understanding of each other's projects, and then you get into a 1 hour group teleconference sessions. And then you'll also have a 2-day follow-up. And in your 2-day follow-up, we'll be reinforcing some change management principles on how to sustain the gains that you've already made. And you may not have made those gains. The 2-day follow-up is within about 2 months' time, but it still gives you additional tools, and you're far enough along in your project so you understand when to apply those tools. And we actually do the implementation and sustainability plans for your project. That would be, and we also do a project audit at the end. So before we award your green belt certificate, we ask you to submit your project details in a certain format, and then we audit. And we actually have 2 awards each year as well that we give out to, it's a community impact award and a big impact award. So community impact this year went to Monarch Recovery Services, and the big impact went to Atlas Copco for the $500,000 that they saved. So what the Green Belt training provides you with the ability to actively lead improvement projects being executed using the lean methodology and gain a hands-on experience of the implementation of lean principles. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask a quick question on a poll again, because we're trying to ascertain what title for the certificate, what title people would better prefer. Would they really like the green belt, or do they like the productivity leader title in the particular certificate? So the certificate that we're awarding you, it's green belt status because you are actually completing the requirements of being a green belt, but at the end of the day, you're productivity leaders. So we had some feedback from from some of our clients saying we're underselling our training by calling it just lean green belt. So just wanted your input on seeing what title do you prefer in terms of whether it's the productivity leader or the green belt. And really you have the option of either or. And so you can decide to pick. So this particular group definitely likes the green belt. Our last group was, there's some productivity leaders in there. That's great. That's awesome. All right. Thank you once again for participating. And whenever I put a poll out, I'm like, I hope somebody participates. I always have a little nervousness there. So, you also will have the ability to recognize categorized waste. You'll have practical knowledge of the lean principles and tools. You'll have completed a project demonstrating time savings, cost savings, and you'll have a designation of your productivity leader or a certified lean practitioner, your green belt. So what have others achieved with the training? So, is this actually a practical thing to get done? Absolutely. So that's Melanie's project again. There was time restraints related to the delivery and preparation of a follow-up clinic visits, which caused longer wait times for patients. And they left clinicians feeling stressed and under pressure. So they were actually able to go through, apply the tools. That's Shane over there. We don't have a nice headshot of her. But that's Shane doing the value stream mapping and identifying the waste exercise. And they made savings there. So this is Dana Corsi from Sault Ste. Marie. I know we have some Algoma people here. And Dana actually reached her goal to eliminate the wait time of admissions at Surya Hospital. Really, it was an approximately 100% reduction in wait time and $10,000 a year in system savings at the end of the day. Who else do we have here? We have Bruce, whose video you just saw. He had a project around filling shifts, and he wanted to reduce the amount of time it took to fill open shifts. and mitigate the risk of injury in modified work, WSIB. We had Gail and Josanne. They worked on their admissions process at St. Joe's Continuing Care Center, and they actually achieved a 50% time reduction between referral and the date received. This is our winner of the big award, Roxanne. She actually was eliminate the parenting program waitlist, and we have some people from the Canadian Mental Health Association that extended some hours of service by doing some lean analysis. See, there were no cost savings here, but you did actually increase the hours to service your clients better. So it's not only about saving costs or reducing time, it's about servicing your clients much better in a manner that they want to be serviced. For some of our industrial sector projects, here's our rod line lean improvement by George. He saved, we don't have the dollar saved, but he had a 46% improvement there. We have our claims process improvement by Christine. Christine was actually at our critical to vision training, which is the framework for implementing continuous improvement in any organization. And she saved, she's expecting to save about $360,000 per year. And we had Ed, who really improved his cycle times by 51%. And here's one from actually Timmins. So Gareth, I think he's going to be showcased in the Timmins newspaper in the near future. And he reduced, there was a 99% reduction in controllable flight changes, estimated to save about $30,000 annually. So there's all kinds of different places in your organization that you could be implementing this particular productivity improvement training. So what do you need to know prior to the training? So just an idea of the problem that you want to see solved, and we'll show you in the next slide how you can actually solve your problem. So I'm just going to put out an offer to download your checklist. So if you're kind of overwhelmed and you're sort of saying, well, what am I going to do? Like, you know, for my initial project, we have a easy to download checklist. If you just click the download button, the Word document will pop up for you. And it's your project selection checklist. So the project selection checklist helps you decide on, you know, helps you decide, like, is this a good enough project to bring to the session? We really like to do some pre-work and prep for this webinar as part of the prep of you coming to the training, because the more prep we do, the more prepared you are. If you're not prepared, that's fine too. We help you out in the course anyways. But for those of you who like to be prepared, we have options, because we're improving as we get more and more feedback in regards to our training. So I'm going to leave that up for a bit there. I'm going to review the project selection checklist really quickly and go from there. So this is the part where I always have a little bit of trouble switching my screen sharing from, what am I sharing? Application window. Is that my Word document? Project selection checklist. There we go. So there you can see my project selection checklist. So your project idea initial checklist has to be a problem or opportunity statement that's aligned with your organization's priorities. In the critical to vision training, so which is really aligning your organization's priorities, the executives have a way of helping you decide on your projects, but it really people should care about your project. It has to address a pain or help take advantage of a missed opportunity in your organization. So again, people have to care. Like when you come to the session, you want to come with a project where your boss is going, yes, I want you to solve that problem. So make sure you bring something to the table. It has to have something that can be measured. You really want to use something that can absolutely be measured. It cannot contain a solution. So implementing a new project management system or a new piece of software is a solution. It's not an actual problem that you're trying to solve. So try to think of the problem you're trying to solve, and the project management system might be a solution, but there could be other solutions as well. And it's helpful if you're excited by the notion of solving the problem or taking advantage of the current missed opportunity. Project management is hard, and seeing your projects to the end is hard. So if you're not excited by the notion of solving that problem, it's not going to work for you. So try to pick something that you're excited about, and that your leaders are excited about too, so that you're working together to solve that problem. So here's some questions for you to answer. Who feels the pain of the problem or missed opportunity? Who are all the people involved in touching different parts of your problem or opportunity statement? You cannot do a project in your little cubicle or in your office all by your lonesome. Lean is a lot about working with your team, and teamwork is a big value. It's a big cornerstone of doing things the right way. And do the people involved in the current state of the project agree with your interpretation of the problem or opportunity? So if they do not agree, have you asked them why they do not agree? So first of all, you have to objectively prove that your project is indeed a problem. And you kind of have to have an idea to say, if I go talk to people that are part of it, will they think it's a problem or will they not think it's a problem? It's okay if they don't think it's a problem, as long as you have the data and then you're able to build a business case for it, which we help you do. So a big part of the training is us teaching you how to get people on board for your projects as well. Think about the barriers that you might face in getting the information. What is the effect of the pain on the customers? And that's getting your objective facts. So where would you get this information? What are the barriers you might face to get this information? So data collection is a big part of the training as well. And what is the magnitude of the problem or missed opportunity? So right off the gate, we get you to start thinking about the cost, time, and quality. It's the triad that we start getting you to think about. It's really essential. So that was our project selection checklist. I'm not sure if anybody has any questions about the project selection checklist, but I will now launch my present to everyone. There we go, back to my PowerPoint. So is this training for me? So it's a good question. Is it for you? It is for you if you're a hands-on individual who executes projects. So if you actually like to execute and get things done, that's definitely for you. Are you excited about doing things differently, or at least learning about it a different way? So it's definitely for you, because you are definitely changing the way you think. If you have people that are not excited about doing things differently, you should send them to the training because we really zap the not having to look at the things differently. When you leave, you cannot go back to the way you were. You do start looking at things differently. Are you a frontline staff who's interested in having a greater role in your workplace? Do you see the need for improvement but just don't know where to begin? So if you're an executive or a director level person and you're not a hands-on project implementer, we have a one-day course for you, or you can come and attend the 2-day yellow belt training with your staff. So you're there for the first 2 days. You kind of have an idea of how their projects are developing. You go back to work, and then they sit there and do all the project writing and all that kind of work. So that's a possibility as well for you guys. So at the end of the day, we're sort of saying, how do you convince your team in terms of, or your boss to send you to the training? So we do have a business case letter. Of course, we have a business case letter because we think things ahead. So you can click on the offer page there to download the free business case letter. You can register for our next webinar, and we'll be bringing that up shortly. I think our next webinar is December 1st. We're doing a couple case studies, like going more in depth into the industrial case studies that we worked on. So we'll be doing that at our next session. So I'll leave that up for a bit for you to download the business case letter. And I think that's pretty much close to the end of our training session. I'll leave it open to questions and answers. If anybody has any questions and answers. So Steve, I just want to make sure that I covered, if you have any more questions around the yellow versus the green belts, I just want to sort of see if you want that further addressed in the particular, because if there's any particular questions that you had about the yellow belt coming up. So we do have dates coming up in Timmins, November 22nd to the 24th, which is not next week, but the week after. We have Toronto, December 6th to the 8th, and Toronto, it's at the in the airport area. And in Sudbury, we have December 7th to the 9th, and our Sudbury session is pretty full already. So, you know, I think we have a few more seats remaining in Sudbury, but we do have some availability in the Toronto and the Timmins sessions. For those of you who are executives, we do have actually the Critical to Vision workshops. I think, let me see if I have a link to register for the Critical to Vision workshop. There's one coming up in Toronto. I don't think I have that actually. No, I don't have that. So we will send you a link to the Critical to Vision Executive Workshop, because we did finish one yesterday in Sudbury, very well received. It really, the one lesson that we learned from yesterday's training is we will do the assessment up front. So we're actually going to be sending you an assessment. So if you come to the Critical to Vision Executive Workshop, we actually we send you an organizational assessment. It's very simple questions that you answer. And then based on your answers, we design the workshop to address specific areas in your organization to set up what we call the operating system for your organization. So, somebody just asked a question. So I'm sure I understand in 2017, your green belt program will include both the yellow and the green belt components. Absolutely. Our green belt program starting in 2017 will include both the yellow and the green belt components, so that you know, once you attend the Critical Division, if you're an executive, you can come to our yellow belts training, and then you can with your peers, and you know, people can continue on with the green belt, and you can head back out. So that's basically what we're doing for 2017, and we're doing it in 2017 because we're trying to make it interesting for everybody. I really did not like our yellow belt. I thought it was quite boring. Poke a pencil in your eye, boring. So we had to cut it for now. So that's pretty much the end of our session. I will reach out to everybody that took the time to attend the call. Thank you so much for attending our webinar, everybody. We really, really appreciate it. If you need to contact us, our contact information can be found below. And we also have we have our Critical to Vision. I really recommend, if you are an executive, either bring us in to do a 2-day hands-on just with your leadership team, where the Critical to Vision is really doing the assessment, designing it just with your leadership team, and that's the most effective way of doing it. Or thank you as well, Sherry, and or attend one of our sessions in Timmins, Toronto, or Sudbury, and we can go from there. And next year we're doing sessions in Ottawa, Barrie, Vaughan, Toronto, North Bay, Sudbury, and Timmins. So we're in about 7 different cities next year, and they're all over Ontario. And we're going to be doing all of the sessions across Ontario. So that's pretty much it. Thank you once again, everybody, for attending. Really appreciate your time. I made it a really quick one. It's about, you know, lasted about 46 minutes, looks like. Hope it wasn't too boring, drawn out, you know. I was trying to keep it quick, and that's where we're at. So I think, is that okay if you guys have more questions, feel free to submit them. I'm not seeing any on the window right now, but feel free to submit them. Yes, we do private private sessions for sure. We absolutely do come in and do those. So I did ask, how would you rate our webinar? That's a poll that's up there. And we have good. I always go for great. One day I'll have 100% great. I think I'm gonna, when I reach out to you guys, I'm gonna ask you, what would make our webinar great? Because I always try to figure that out. You know, how do we go from good to great? So thank you so much once again. I will talk to you later, and we'll send you a link to the pre-recorded webinar. Take care. Bye-bye.